Amira Alvarez here, founder and CEO of The Unstoppable Woman. And this morning, I want to talk about closing the gap on time, manipulating time, how we can do this. So you probably have a lot going on in your life. I know I do. There are a ton of initiatives you are juggling. There are a ton of mundane tasks that you have to get done. There are lots of obligations and responsibilities and stuff that you want to do and probably stuff that you don't want to do but feel like you have to do. This is the life of the entrepreneur, okay? This is the life of the woman in business. There is a lot to juggle, okay? So the problem is you don't have time, but you think you have time. Okay, let me explain this. You don't have all the time in the world to achieve your big dreams. You don't. And yet you're filling the time that you do have with the tasks that seem important right now, but aren't the ones that actually are going to move the needle in your business. And it takes up space and time. It takes up a lot of space and time. And if you want to manipulate time, if you want to close the gap on how quickly you make a quantum leap, how quickly you break through that financial glass ceiling, how quickly you get off the struggle bus so you're not overwhelmed, okay, is determined by how quickly you close the gap on your initiatives, on the things that are really important to you and your business. So I put a quote in the description for this Facebook Live, and it's from Peter Thiel. He's the co-founder of Facebook, clearly has made billions of dollars. And one of the things that he does for himself, and I've heard him talk about this as something that he does when he evaluates giving money to startups, investing in companies, is that he asks, how could you do that in 6 months? You know, something that they planned 3 years, 10 years out. How can you do that in 6 months? Okay? Or even shorter. And just by asking that question of yourself, you can close the gap. And I do this all the time with myself and with my clients. So ask yourself, can you close the gap on what you're doing? So what might this look like? First, does this make sense to you guys? So good morning, Wendy. Hi. Do you understand what I mean? Give me a thumbs up if you do. Understand what I mean by closing the gap. It means, let me explain a little bit. We have stories, I'm going to just call them stories. They're the explanations in our mind about why something needs to take longer than it actually does. And this is very common. I see this all the time. I can't do that until I finish this. This is more important than that, where it's really, maybe not, it's not the most important thing, but it's just the thing that you feel beholden to or responsible to, or people are depending on you on. Like, you think you have to get back to your team about X, Y, and Z, but really you have to do this, speak to this person, because this is where the money's coming from for the initiative that you need to actually pay your team members, okay? Something like that. So I hear this all the time with my clients, like, I'll do that next week. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that, I've got that planned 3 weeks from now, okay? And yes, there's a certain amount of planning that we want in our lives and businesses. Like, we don't want to be completely reactive and all the time kind of just like jumping all over the place from one thing to another. That's not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about when you see the thing that's actually going to move the needle in your business, do that. Do that now. Don't do that later. Do that like now. Like, I'm going to go do that now. Okay? And it's not the stuff like, I'm going to respond to that email. Okay? Unless it's like an invitation to speak in the White House or something like that. But most of the stuff in our inbox can wait. okay? But you need to know how to close the gap. And one of the ways to do that is to constantly question yourself. Can I do that now? Is there a reason why this has to wait? How could I close the gap in time? And hold yourself to higher and higher standards around this, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you can quantum leap your business and your life, quite frankly. And this is what I mean by being unstoppable. This is one of the things I mean by being unstoppable. Like, to question yourself and not believe the stories of limitation. It doesn't have to take that long. It really doesn't. But you have to be willing to move through the stories, okay? And sometimes it takes, for the startups, sometimes it takes the Peter Thiels of the world to force them to evaluate their plans. Can you do that for yourself? Do you need someone to help you with that? Okay? Sometimes you do. So, if you want to be unstoppable and really take your business and your life to the next level, this is one of the things you need to do. You have to close the gap on time. And it's like manipulating time. You'll be so surprised by how much you can get done in a short period of time if you let go of the non-essentials and you focus on what's essential. Now, a lot of people have a hard time understanding what's essential, but that's for another Facebook Live, or come to my live event and we'll talk about what the essentials are for you. And that's a little pitch there. I hope you're enjoying these Facebook Lives that I'm doing, and that the content is really supporting you in your life and business. If they are, give me a like or some sort of comment in the thread, because I love to hear what resonates with people. I love to hear that it's helping you. I hear behind the scenes that it's helping people, but I'd love to hear it in this post. So have an awesome day. Rock it out. Be unstoppable. Take care.